Well, I'm here with my friend Ben of the Contingent. For those of you I don't know, my name's Jared, and Ben and I are sitting having a conversation around this ideal family placements, this work that we are getting to do together around the country. And the Contingent started in Oregon,
Yep.
2019. I think it was like kind of like that tipping point that took place.
Yeah.
Of what you guys do recruiting. And I know people have heard before kind of what the Contingent does. You've shared with us before.
Sure.
But we've been able together in partnership. You guys started in Oregon, really got this momentum moving. And then really we got connected right as you guys were launching in Arkansas.
Yeah.
So we got to invest in some of the launch of Every Child Arkansas.
Yeah.
And then together really got to go deep with Tennessee.
Yeah.
And the partnership with Tennessee and launching Every Child Tennessee last year, which has been so exciting.
Yeah.
But Ben, we've learned, like as we've gone in this ecosystem approach, we had these ideas that we're going to see issues, we're going to see gaps. As we start to plug one hole, another hole is going to probably open up, or we're gonna be aware of a hole that we weren't even aware there was a leak or something going on. I'd love for you. We discovered something in Arkansas, and we discovered something in Tennessee. Would you mind just sharing a little bit about what we discovered and what we're doing about it in Arkansas, and what we discovered in Tennessee and what we're doing there?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, so Jared, one of the things that's so remarkable about For Others' ecosystem approach is the recognition that you have that when you make adjustments in an ecosystem, there are intended and maybe even sometimes unintended consequences, and that the ecosystem is designed to try to heal itself, but in order for that to happen, you have to create some disruption. I think what's remarkable about the partnership between For Others and the Contingent is that we go into a state recognizing that we are going to create disruption, but it is not through the lens of litigation or critique. It is through the lens of what does it mean to overwhelm the system with positivity, overwhelm the system with community members, overwhelm the system with an opportunity to say, like, we're going to take one problem away. And in the case of the Contingent, the problem we're taking away is generating qualified leads who are strategic, that live in particular communities to care for particular children. So when we look at Oregon and Arkansas and Tennessee, we've overwhelmed the system with qualified leads.
Thousands of leads.
Way exceeding expectations. And so we set goals, and in every state we have exceeded those goals in terms of families saying yes. And what that's uncovered is when you overwhelm the system and an ecosystem with a positive thing, there's other parts of the system that go like, whoa, okay, like what does this actually mean? And I think that in Arkansas, what we've begun to identify is that it is historically taken quite a while for families to get licensed in Arkansas. So when you recruit a family and you say, we need you right now, and it can take 8.2 months, that creates a restlessness, both for the leads that are coming forward, but also for the state. And so in Arkansas, in partnership with For Others and with Director Tiffany Wright, who oversees DCFS there, we have launched a new focused effort to try to get families licensed in 120 days, which is absolutely remarkable.
Yeah.
So the goal really there is to try to cut the licensing speed in half. So we have gone in and we are working on streamlining all of the licensing processes across the state, but we've launched a project called Project 120. And the goal of Project 120 is to work internally with the state of Arkansas and to bring some of the investment from For Others that unlocks our kind of action lab to be able to solve for that. It's important, I think, to remember that the Contingent as an organization's got no shot at that without For Others saying, like, all right, let's do it. Whatever innovation it's going to take to get families licensed in 120 days, we want to do that. And that's the critical role that For Others plays in empowering the whole ecosystem.
I love it. I mean, we all have our roles to play. For Others is that strategic philanthropic organization, but it has strategy. Let's holistically look at this thing. And you guys, I mean, your superpower is mobilizing the community and specifically mobilizing them in this way. But if we can't speed up the process, we have them an attrition rate that we can't keep up with.
Yeah.
So I love that Arkansas has said yes. And we had to have some conversation because they said, yes, let's do the whole state.
Yeah.
And you were like, hold on. And when you said Action Lab, just for everyone to know, like Action Lab is an innovation lab.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in many nonprofits, I mean, the thousands of nonprofits, thousands that exist, they're not doing innovation. And so we've got to be we've got to be just as sophisticated and just as good as the Microsofts and the Apples and the Amazons that are out there to innovate in real time to meet these felt needs that are arising. And you guys are doing that. We love that we get to be a part of that with you, seeing the problems and fixing them together. So man, well, that's in Arkansas, we can cut that in half. Now we got a new product that goes into when we mobilize in a new state. We also have this, hell, is if you're in Michigan and it's taking you 15 months, what if we could cut that in half in Michigan we tested it in one jurisdiction, one state. Now we're going to be able to roll this out as a part of the suites of products.
100%.
Which is great.
Yeah. Everything that we are doing together is through this Every Child initiative, and Every Child, thanks to 4 others, is really becoming a Swiss Army knife of a product that has the opportunity to address multiple areas in the ecosystem. And our core function, our core mission is mobilizing community. But what we really want to focus on in that genre is making sure that the community member that says yes has a red carpet experience, soup to nuts.
That's great.
And, which is, I know, a mission that we share.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I think it's important to know there is a public and private side of this. So with the state of Arkansas, we're trying to improve it for the state, for DCFS to improve their licensing. And hopefully we might have the private sector, these nonprofits who are also licensing, maybe they get to see an even better way of doing it, improve their own as well.
Yeah.
We've seen it in Tennessee. Like Tennessee, we knew they were doing better in licensing, but we are also seeing the same effects here in Tennessee. Like, why aren't we licensing them faster? We got all these 100. So it's like, okay, well, what we're doing in Arkansas will hopefully help Tennessee. But Tennessee had a whole other issue that they were like, we need to solve for the other side of the container. We've recruited them. You might license them, but now we need to be really good at retaining them. So there's a scope of work happening in Tennessee around retention. I'd love for you just to explain what is that looking like in Tennessee.
Yeah. Again, thanks to 4 others, you've unlocked this. What we recognize when you think about who's your customer, I mean, every organization should be really obsessing about that. And in our case, our primary customer is the community member, the family that is saying yes to care for kids. And so it's one thing to get them to say yes and recruit them. It's another thing to get them licensed in a timely way. But once they say yes and they take that first placement, I've often said that being a foster parent is like a choose your own adventure game. Like, you have no idea what is behind door A, B, or C. And so what we want to make sure we're doing is focusing on making sure that every family that says yes has the kinds of supports they need to be able to retain as a foster family. You always say you can't out-recruit a retention problem, right?
Yeah.
And so in order for us to retain, what we're trying to measure is how many families stay foster families after their first placement. And we want that number to be way higher than it is. The national average is about 50%.
Yeah.
So we want to see that number hovering at 90%, and in order for us to get that done, we've been able to partner with the state of Tennessee to do a discovery journey to understand what are all of the different services and interventions that support foster families. We've interviewed families directly, both those that have had an opportunity to retain and also those that blew out, if you will. We've talked to DCS and leaders of the state. We've talked to all of the nonprofits that are in the ecosystem. And so right now we're in the middle of designing a prototype to roll out here in the next 3 to 6 months that will create a streamlined foster family retention service delivery to make sure that once a family gets certified, they know exactly what's available to them. We're going to recruit more community members into the ecosystem to offer them support to try to drive up that retention rate. We have a canary in the coal mine in Oregon. We've been doing this work in Oregon for a while. And in the last year, the families that we've been able to do some of this service with are retaining it at 89%. So we have a high degree of confidence that we have the right core concepts. Now the challenge is to create this statewide delivery system in Tennessee. So again, that's another piece of the ecosystem. Recruit, license them in a timely way, support them to retain past their first placement. And what you're going to see is an ecosystem getting healthy.
What I'm really excited, these are 2 pieces of innovation that has long been needed in this space. And I think there's been probably organizations and states trying to figure it out. You hear them talking about it all the time. But I love that it's not just for others in the contingent
No.
trying to figure this out, right? You do have the state involved. You do have some other nonprofits. You have some people like Marina Nitzel with the Child Welfare Playbook,
Yeah.
kind of stepping in risk
Yeah.
with you guys. I mean, there's such incredible organization, and I love that about the contingent of just this. It's going to take a group of us to figure this out
Yeah.
and work together. And so by no means is four others in the contingent the only ones trying to do this in this innovation microcosm. Like we actually are, other people are being invited in for us to do it together.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah. And if I don't, sorry to interrupt you, Jared, but one of the things that, for those of you that are watching this, I just would want you to know, when four others makes an investment in the contingent, the ultimate investment actually isn't in just one organization. It is in a network of hundreds of organizations that are all working together. We are just the intermediary that brings innovation, data and technology, superpower, but also a collaborative collective impact commitment. And so it's absolutely true, Jared, that like $1 in, to the work that we're doing with every child really is impacting hundreds of organizations.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you're hearing from us here with four others in the contingent and with other, well, I would say partners that we really only have a few that we're in this infrastructure level. Like that's what we're doing. We're trying to fix it, reform it, make it better. And we do have a feeling like, yes, let's innovate. Four others paying for that on the private side, but getting to that place then where our tax dollars, the public dollars are taking care of that infrastructure where now everybody benefits off of it. Yep. And so I love that we get to do that with you. I got one last question for you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So we're doing all this work and we got Oregon, we've got Arkansas, we've got Tennessee. We've been on the road a lot. We've been on a lot of video calls. We've been in a lot of in-person calls, phone calls. Where are you right now as Ben, CEO of the contingent and the contingent? Where are you most excited or feel the most wind in our sails of the next places we might be going?
Yeah. It is remarkable what is happening in the South. When you look at what's happening federally, but when you look at what's happening with states. So, we have been on the road in Kentucky and Louisiana. We have conversations in West Virginia and South Florida and Alabama and Georgia. And there is something that it seems to me that God is doing in the South.
Yeah.
And so we absolutely have conversations that are happening in Michigan,
yeah,
or Delaware or Idaho or other places, Utah. But the reality of it is, I do think that something's happening and something's emerging in the South. And so our intent, of course, is to solve the child welfare crisis across the entire country. But I would say that the beachhead seems to be the South. And so it's been really fun as an organization. Our organization, we're in Portland, Oregon. I often tell people, like, I just have fallen in love with what's going on in the South. And then I get on an airplane, go back to Portland. It feels like I'm like arriving on the moon. And so it's been so fun to travel with you and spend time in the South. And for those of you, I just want you to know, I do think something is remarkable is happening through four others. And I think it is starting in the South, and it is going to just be like a stream that turns into a river, and the river is going to turn into a flood.
Wow. And we love that we get to do this with you, Ben, as a friend, not just as a partner. It's not just four others in the contingent. It's Ben and Jared and Deb and Paul, who we'll talk to later. Just this heart, there's this unified heart around, we can do this.
Yeah.
We believe that God is giving favor and a point in time to serve in a way that Jesus calls us to serve.
Yeah.
To change this system, to fix the system, and then everybody benefits from it.
Yeah.
And so, man, thanks for just joining and having this conversation. So hopefully people understand what's going on. And man, look forward to the many more states to come together.
Yes, we're just getting started.
That's it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, thank you.